Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by lynda.com.
Today on Variant, I give you my thoughts of the amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics just as much as I love action figures. I'm your host, Arris. The amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer just hit the interwebs last Thursday, and since Spider-Man is my second favorite superhero, of course I have to give you my thoughts on his latest movie trailer. Also, Gal Gadot has been cast as Wonder Woman in 2015's Batman vs Superman movie, so I'll be telling you what I think about that. But first, let's talk about Spidey's new movie. Being the huge Spider-Man fan that I am, I've been really excited to see a trailer for the amazing Spider-Man 2, but nervous at the same time. I really want to love this movie. I didn't love the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, but I did like it. It had some awesome action sequences, and the look of the movie was very comic booky with all those vibrant colors, and I think Andrew Garfield looked a lot more like Spider-Man in the costume, more so than Tobey Maguire did, since Andrew Garfield has that skinny, lanky body that Spider-Man is supposed to have. But back to the topic at hand, the amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer. First, I'm going to tell you what I loved about it, and then I'm going to tell you what I didn't like. As for what I loved, Spider-Man's new costume looks amazing. No pun intended. Okay, maybe it was a little intended. But nonetheless, it looks like it's ripped right out of the comics. I know for the first movie, a lot of people hated his costume since it wasn't the traditional Spider-Man costume we all love. And for me, I hated how his eyes were yellow and not white like they're supposed to be. But in the second movie, we're getting the classic Spidey suit, so we could assume his costume in the first Amazing Spider-Man was still in its prototype stages, so it's really cool just to see the evolution of his costume. Another thing that has me super excited for this movie is the visuals. Just like the first film, or maybe even more so in this movie, from what I can tell from the trailer, we're going to be getting a lot of glorious Spider-Man action and eye candy yumminess. Spider-Man's web slinging around the city looks fantastic, and yet again ripped right out of the comics and cartoons. The movie seems to capture Spider-Man's movements and acrobatics very well. Props to the VFX guys who worked on this movie. There's even a shot in the trailer where Spider-Man's about to throw a manhole cover at Rhino's head with an explosion behind him that reminds me of one of my favorite Spider-Man covers, which is a variant cover from the first Friendly Hood Neighborhood Spider-Man issue. It's not exactly like the shot in the movie, but it's close enough and makes me instantly think of that cover. Definitely one of the coolest things this trailer had to offer was the brief Easter egg shots we have of Vulture's wings and Doc Ock's tentacle arms in the background of Oscorp. The shot teases the Sinister Six, who are rumored to make their appearance in future Spider-Man films. For those of you who don't know who the Sinister Six are, they're a team of 6 supervillains from Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery who come together to take down Spider-Man. The team has gone through many member changes over the years, but the original members were Doc Ock, Vulture, Sandman, Electro, Mysterio, and Kraven. But now that I told you some of the things I liked about the trailer, it's time to tell you what I didn't like. The main thing I didn't like about the trailer, which actually has nothing to do with the trailer itself, but rather the design of the villains for the movie. In the trailer, we get to see brief glimpses of Rhino and Green Goblin. Rhino looks like a Megazord from the Power Rangers or something out of a Michael Bay Transformers movie, which is fine if you're making a Power Rangers movie or if you're making a Transformers movie, but they're not. This is a Spider-Man movie. I don't understand why they didn't just go with the updated Ultimate comic version of Rhino where he's just the guy in Rhino armor. It would have been way cooler. But instead, they went with the guy piloting this robot mecha thing. Director Mark Webb said in an interview his decision for this was that he wanted to make Rhino feel more realistic, and the way that he appears in the comics would be too hard to translate to a movie, to which I say, the title character in your movie can stick on walls, has super strength, has a spider sense, and web slings around the city, and your main villain controls electricity, flies, and is blue. What the heck are you talking about realistic? Then you have Green Goblin, who once again looks nothing like Green Goblin from the comics. First, we had Power Ranger Green Goblin, and now we have Bad Hair Day Green Goblin. Some people are saying that it's because he's going to have a slow transformation, and by the end of the movie, or by the third film, he'll look more like the Green Goblin we know from the comics. But who knows? As for now, however, me no likey how he looks. And my last gripe is I'm scared they're pulling a Spider-Man 3 and putting way too many villains in one film. I know it's been said that Rhino and Green Goblin have very small parts in this movie and that Electro is the main villain, but I'm nervous, guys. We've all been down this road before, and I'm getting flashbacks. Oh, God. But take everything I said with a grain of salt, as I hold all final judgment until I see the movie. Overall, I think the trailer looks great. I just have a few problems with the villain designs minus Electro, and the fact that there seems to be a lot of villains jammed in one movie. But I'm super excited to see the movie. It definitely seems to capture the webhead's vibe from the comics, so I hope it's awesome. Lynda.com is an online learning company with more than 77,000 video tutorials that teach software, creative, and business skills. Memberships start at $25 a month and provide an unlimited 24/7 access to top quality video courses taught by expert instructors with real-world experience. Learn anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace, from bite-sized tutorials to comprehensive courses in web design, program design, photography, business, audio and video, 3D, and animation. And you can learn on the go with their optimized mobile site or free iPhone and iPad app for members. Try Lynda.com for free for 7 days by visiting lynda.com/variants and get some knowledge in your brain. It was announced last Thursday that Gal Gadot is going to be playing Wonder Woman in 2015's Batman vs Superman film. She was in the running with Olga Kurylenko, Jamie Alexander, and Elodie Yung. I know out of the four ladies that were running for the role, I wanted Jamie Alexander to get the part. I personally think she was the prettiest out of the bunch, but more importantly, she showed in her role as Sif in Thor that she could pull off that tough girl warrior vibe that Wonder Woman needs. For my thoughts on Gal Gadot being Wonder Woman, I mean, she was okay in the 3 Fast and the Furious movies she was in, but it's hard to tell. She's never had a huge role like this before, so I really don't have an opinion. I'm just kind of neutral on the subject. She doesn't have enough stuff on her resume for me to judge. She could be awful or she could be great. I don't know. But I do know in a perfect world, if I could choose any woman to play Wonder Woman, I'd choose Kate Beckinsale. As I've said in the past, I think she would do a great job. But as for Gal Gadot, I just hope she's good. I know a lot of people are saying she's too skinny for the role, but that doesn't concern me too much, as I'm sure she will put some meat on her bones, as that's what actors do for their roles. Much like Christian Bale before Batman Begins, and then Christian Bale in Batman Begins. So there's that. In summary, like I said, I'm neutral. She could be good, she could be horrible, only time will tell at this point. So I reserve all judgment until I see her in the movie. First up for Wednesday, December 11th, we have Captain America Living Legends Issue 4. Past and present collide as Captain America leads a Russian assault squad into the heart of darkness. Next, we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 700.2. This is a mini-series that gives us stories with Peter Parker back under the web suit once again. Now we have Justice League of America issue 10. The survivors of the crime syndicate's attack now face a world where Earth's most dangerous criminals are in charge. Here we have Justice League issue 25. Forever Evil continues as the crime syndicate hunts down the few heroes left foolish enough to challenge them, including Batman's protege, Dick Grayson. And finally, we have Batman issue 26. 0 Year continues with Gotham City thrown into total chaos by the Riddler. Batman and Jim Gordon must learn to work together. And that will bring today's episode to a close. But remember, you can always like our variant Facebook pages, keep up with the show and all things comic related. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter if you so wish at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But once again, it's time for me to leave you guys, and that makes me sad because I'm quite fond of you guys. But I'll see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics. I'm gonna tell you what I didn't like. And sorry. It's all on the hips. On the hips.